The next contestant on January 6th was not right. Is the 23-year-old Josua Doolin. He's also from Florida. Gosh, why does that state keep coming up? And this story really epitomizes white privilege. Doolin was arrested on January 30th. He was charged with some pretty serious crimes, including assaulting officers with a dangerous or deadly weapon and theft of government property. Yet, he was out on bail and he was awaiting trial or a plea deal. Then he violated the terms of his pretrial release. Investigators discovered that there was an AR-15 under a bed in a guest room in his home. So prosecutors asked for the judge to revoke his bond. But Doolin claimed he had no idea that the gun was in his house. Actually, his fiancée told the investigators that she put the gun under the bed and assumed that it wasn't a problem because he didn't know. He wasn't aware of its existence. Well, because his wedding was coming up, the judge agreed not to jail Doolin. After all that, judge agreed this guy, committed a violent crime allegedly on January 6th, attacked officers with a dangerous weapon, violates his pretrial release, has a gun, but I'm not going to send him to jail because he's getting married. Not only that, guys, but the judge allowed his co-defendant, Joseph Hutchinson, to travel to Florida for Christmas to attend Doolin's wedding. But these moron crybaby Republican lawmakers are clutching their pearls, wringing their hands about how poorly these people are being treated. Oh, these political prisoners. Let's all send them a pacifier. That's what they deserve for all their whining and crying. Anyway, next up is everyone's favorite sovereign citizen, Pennsylvania resident Pauline Bauer. Bauer, as you guys probably recall, she was given numerous chances to cut the shit, to comply with the court's pretrial release conditions. She didn't, and the judge finally had enough, and he sent her to jail to await trial. Well, Bauer took her release fight to the appeals court to overturn Judge Trevor McFadden's decision to jail her. In the brief she filed, Bauer repeatedly argued that she's not a flight risk, she's not a danger to society. However, those weren't the reasons why the judge revoked her bond. And then she also argued that the court wasn't specific enough about her pretrial release conditions. And she noted that the charge of obstructing an official proceeding has never been used against people engaging in political demonstrations. What she failed to mention, which I'm sure the appeals court judges are aware of, is the fact that 6 judges now have refused to dismiss that obstructing an official proceeding charge against numerous January 6 defendants. So the appeals panel wasn't buying her BS, and they dismissed all of her arguments. And one of the reasons they cited was Bauer's, quote, repeated insistence that the district court lacked jurisdiction over her. So yeah, this whole sovereign citizen thing isn't really working out for her. And I may have another Bauer update for you in a few weeks because she has another motion filed with Judge McFadden to try and dismiss all the charges. That should be fun. She always is great for a laugh. So I'll let you guys know when and if I hear more on that. And speaking of dismissal requests, Owen Shroyer, who's a host on the InfoWars network with Psycho Alex Jones, he requested that the charges against him be dropped. Shroyer argued that the feds only charged him to be vindictive, but Judge Timothy Kelly, who, by the way, is a Trump appointee, said that there was, quote, little or any evidence here suggesting vindictiveness. And you guys may remember that Shroyer didn't enter the Capitol on January 6th, but he was arrested and charged for being on the Capitol grounds on January 6th because he was already under a non-prosecution agreement for interrupting a 2019 House Judiciary Committee hearing that was about Trump's first impeachment. So by just being there on January 6th, he was violating the terms of that agreement for his previous arrest. So unfortunately for him, his case will go on. It's like Celine Dion's heart. So the next few updates are about some defendants who have had their charges increased. Daryl and Daniel Johnson are the first people that I want to talk about. They are Minnesota residents. Daryl is 51 years old. Daniel is 29. This is a father and son duo who illegally entered the Capitol on January 6th. And they were initially charged with those basic 4 misdemeanors that we all know so well. Well, their charges were increased to include a felony charge of civil disorder, which carries a maximum prison term of up to 5 years and then up to $250,000. That charge resulted from new evidence, which showed that the Johnsons were part of a large mob that was physically trying to push through a line of Capitol Police. And this was inside the building. So that must have put the fear of God into them, because after that new charge was levied against them, each of the men accepted a plea deal, and then they pleaded guilty to that civil disorder charge, which we haven't seen much of that. Like I've said, most of these people are pleading to these really low-level basic misdemeanors, and they get these slaps on the wrist, and they're due to be sentenced on April 12th. So I'm going to keep you guys all posted on that.